If you're a woman who has been struggling to achieve the perfect body, the perfect weight, the perfect shape, the perfect whatever, I want to talk to you today about the illusion of the perfect body, because this topic helped me transform my diet mindset from feeling insecure and never happy and never satisfied for where I was in my journey to not having any impact in terms of my body shape or size. And it's been able to help me achieve better results along the way in a more realistic mindset. So when I ask you, what did you like to do when you were younger for movement or activity? For sake of a better excuse, most of us, or most clients that I've worked with, I've been a fitness professional for over 30 years. So the clients that I've worked with for over 30 years, the most common issue or common complaint that they share with me is they can't get motivated to exercise. So I want you to consider, what did you like to do to move your body or quote unquote exercise when you were younger? If you went on bike rides or played hopscotch or ran around with your friends and played tag, I'm more than certain that you never had to get yourself motivated to do those things. And I'm pretty sure you didn't have to do the things just to burn the calories, just to lose some extra weight. Like, you did it for the sake of having fun. So where did it all end? Where did it all go downhill? How did we get so laser focused on what this number on the scale says about us, or how good our tummies look in the mirror after a shower, or what size clothing are we wearing, or how we measure up in a lineup with our best friends? Like, where did it all go wrong? So I want you to consider something, and I want to do a little visualization for you before I dive into this topic, just to give you a different perspective. So I'd like you to close your eyes. Just trust me for just a few seconds here. I just want you to relax your body, close your eyes, and in the image in your mind right now, I want you to picture the last number, whatever the scale said to you the last time you weighed yourself, or whatever number you would like to see on the scale. Okay, so you can pick one or the other. You can pick what the last number was, or what you want the scale to say. And then in that, I want you to notice, what are the thoughts that come up? What do you think? What are the emotions? What are the feelings that are coming up as you think about this number on the scale? Okay. So just take a moment, feel it, and then when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And now when you open your eyes, I want you to just come back to, what was it that you felt? Did you feel excited? Were you embarrassed? Were you afraid? Did you get annoyed? Were you frustrated? Were you joyful? Like, what was the feeling that you had around that number, or the wishful number, whatever you wanted to see on the scale? Because let me guarantee something to you. Whatever you felt, I didn't tell you to feel something. I didn't ask you to feel a certain emotion. I asked you to think about a number on the scale and then to see what comes up, because they are closely connected, and they've been connected for many, many years now. And when we are constantly triggered by a number on the scale and we achieve that goal, maybe we go on a diet and we achieve that goal that we're looking for, do we ever feel satisfied? Are we ever really where we want to be? And for most of us, no, which is why we go back and forth on yo-yo diets, which is why we are either off a program or on a program, because we're never truly appreciative of our body for lack of the complete result. Like, our physical body right now really doesn't care, doesn't change how it runs based on the number on the scale, right? It's still going to run. It's still going to thrive. It's still going to do the things that it does. And the thing about it is we simply experience these thoughts about our weight. So when we weigh ourselves, or we think about our scale, or we put on a piece of clothing that doesn't fit right, or whatever it is that triggers us, we all of a sudden have this thought, and that thought leads to emotion. And whatever you felt in regards to that thought, it was simply a personal reaction to a belief or a judgment about that thought. Not about the weight, not about the scale, not about the size of your clothing. All the emotion happened inside of you, not from the actual scale. It comes from us. So I want you to open your mind for a moment to the possibility that everything that you experience around your weight loss, around your weight, excuse me, your body confidence is more about you than it is about the weight. And now, for me, this was a huge eye-opener. And if it's really deep for you, that's okay. Just let it settle in. Just let this settle in. Your relationship to whatever that desired weight is, or whatever that desired shape is, it's just a mirror image to your relationship with yourself. They're two different, completely different topics. So in fact, you don't even have a relationship to your desired weight. The weight that you want to weigh has nothing to do with you. You only really have a relationship to your thoughts about that desired weight. That's the only relationship that you have. So how you feel about your weight is just one of those habitual thoughts that you've been carrying around with you inside of your nervous system for years now. The first time you started a diet and the first time you were triggered by the scale. So if you're feeling desperate and frustrated about losing weight, what you're actually feeling is the desperation or the frustration that's been living inside of you all this time, and you just happen to notice it externally when it comes to the topic of this number or the number on the scale. So the weight is just causing or creating these emotions, and it's just bringing them to the surface. So again, they're two separate topics. So for example, and I'm going to share a quick story about my experience with this exact topic, because whatever you felt in regards to the thought was simply a personal reaction, which were based around the beliefs or the judgments about that thought. It has nothing to do with the thought. So you can almost free yourself from this thought. So my weight loss epiphany happened. I had been struggling with diets most of my life. And again, I became a fitness instructor, fitness professional. I've worked with clients for the past 30 years. So eventually, I got to the point where I was able to achieve goals and stick with them for the most part. But the epiphany of this whole topic came to me about 10 years ago, a little bit more than 10 years ago, when I decided just before the age of 40 to compete in a fitness competition. Because why not, right? It was something that scared me, and it was something that I had always wanted to accomplish. So I says, you know what, I'm going to do this. So I trained and I dieted for 6 long months. And I have to say, this was about a week before my competition. At that stage, I was the leanest I had ever been in my life. I was the most sculpted and fit version of myself than I had ever been. And I was 40 years old at this stage. So that was a pretty impressive reality. But you know what my instant thoughts were? It wasn't that I was so proud of myself, of the accomplishment and the hard work and the effort that I've done. Do you know what the sad truth was? The night before my competition, I'm trying on my suit, playing around with makeup and hair, and I thought to myself, gosh, this is not going to last. I remember looking at myself in the mirror and saying, this is not going to last. Enjoy it while you can. And there was this voice in my head that was almost berating me, like I was an imposter in this body. And I believe that is what most of us are doing when we achieve this result and this reality and this goal. We think it's going to solve all our problems, but the problem has always been there. We need to solve the problem, and then after doing so, then we can achieve a result which will last. Which is why a lot of before and after transformation stories, or if you've ever watched The Biggest Loser, they go about in the wrong direction, most of us do. And when we're not taking care of the actual problem, whatever is deeply rooted, the issues that we're feeling that are coming to the surface because we're at this goal now, we think that's going to solve all our problems. Could be like money, having money or not having money. We think money's going to solve all our problems. Then we may get an influx of money and we realize it doesn't do anything for our problems. Yes, it'll help pay the bills. It'll help get us to do more things, but there's a deeper issue. So instead of looking at the outside level, if you're struggling, if you've been struggling for years, you know what I'm talking about. And unless that internal story changes, we're never going to be able to find our long-term success. That has to change. We have to make adjustments to the external body, but first we have to make adjustments to what's going on the deeper level. So the same thing for my own results. I had to realize that it had nothing to do with the shape that I was. In fact, right after this competition, I quickly went on to put on 30 pounds of body fat in 2 months. Felt like I had completely derailed myself again. gotten back to 30 years prior and was defeated. And at that point was when I hit the breaking point, was when I realized after this, I'd gained the 30 pounds and I thought, all has been lost. You did it and then you lost it all. And in that moment, I began to think, I'm okay. Like, I'm okay with this. There's no pressure on me. I could do whatever I feel I want to do because this is my body. This is my life. I get to experience what I want to experience by what I do, by the action steps. I don't have to feel pressured by outside voices and outside sources, which is what I had been running on all those years before. So it was at that point when I decided, do I even want to get back in shape again? Do I even care to get this 30 plus pounds off? And to be honest, I had no desire to exercise at that point. I had no desire to eat a salad again or chicken breast or all the things that I had eaten for the past 6 months because I had hit the breaking point. But in that breaking point was my healing. Was that pivotal moment that I realized I don't have to do this. I can do what I want to do. That the number on the scale will never equal a confident and happy me. I have to feel confident and happy before I even care what the number on the scale says. This does not define us. And so unless you already understand this, I'm going to have you consider to just take some time to consider the fact that what if this is where you were to stay for the rest of your life? This number, this weight, this result. You look at yourself in the mirror and you are to stay here for the rest of your life. Magic Genie comes in and says, you are to be here now for the rest of your life. How do you feel about it? Because unless you are 100% okay with it, you're going to continue to go back and forth between these yo-yos, between these frustrations, between the desperation of wanting what you really want, thinking that's what you want, and getting there and knowing that it's not going to last because it wasn't really what the answer was. So finding that inner peace that my body is amazing. My body does amazing things every single day, no matter what the situation is. We're able to thrive and move and breathe and live and heal and recover and all the things and grow. And if we eat too much, we put weight on. And if we don't eat enough, we lose weight. And if we don't take care of ourselves, we break down. Like, there's just a reality to that, but it has nothing to do with our worth. And so until we can differentiate that, the next step doesn't matter. So before I plead with you, before you take on the next diet, take some time and just consider all the amazing things your body does, all that you've done up to this point of your life. And if you were to stay here, what is good about this? It can't be the worst. I'm sure that there's amazing good things at this point of your life. And until you can heal whatever's deeply rooted, to get to the next stage is almost just jumping out of the line and not even focusing in on what the major topic is. And obviously this might bring up deeper core issues maybe from your past. And if you had trauma and experiences, I would plead with you to get counseling and get some help for that. But if it's something that you can work through, look at journaling, look at meditating, look at, for me, it was yoga and meditation and lots of journal time and prayer time and just emotional healing, that I was okay. No matter what, I was going to be okay. And through that, I was able to continue on my journey towards taking care of my body, but in a different mindset. So I hope this gave you something to think about today. Love to hear your comments below. And until then, we'll see you in the next video.